This is A Story of Sorts, the podcast mostly about bookish stuff. And I am your host, Karina Pereira.
Hello everyone, welcome in. I am here again today with Bia, if you remember from the last episode, which was the episode before the last one. So not the last episode, but the one before that. I announced that Bia was going to become a recurrent guest on the show. And today we are going to talk about three things that come together with what Dutch Oven Girl does, which is what Bia does on her socials. I will leave everything that you hear on this podcast in the notes, in the show's notes. If you don't know who Bia is and why we are doing this as a duo now, please go 2 episodes back and listen to that episode. Bia, welcome in.
Hello.
Hi.
Did you miss us?
Yes, because I barely have been posting actually. Even like this was supposed to be like individual podcast with then a couple of interviews, but the individual has gone out the window.
It's all good, yeah.
I haven't done anything.
I mean, we talked a lot about that on the last episode that we did together, that, you know, not sticking to strict schedules and just like going with the flow, doing things when it feels right. So I think that's quite, quite in line with what you wanted the podcast to be anyway. So it's all good.
Because I'm a Capricorn and nobody's paying me for this. Anyway, for these episodes, as I said, we are going to pick the basis of Dutch Oven Girl, which is what Bia does. And Dutch Oven Girl is basically favorites, or not a favorite, sorry, a mix of foods, movies, and books. So that's what we're going to do, except that we decided to do a sort of 3 favorites of both of us. So we are going to start by talking about our favorite films. So 3 of them, favorite movies, favorite food, and then favorite books of all time. Not last year, not this year, because it just started, but of all time. So, Bia, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. It was, we were talking about this just off mic, that I think movies was one of the hardest ones because
for sure.
I know we watch a lot of movies, right? So then it's also like you have to go back and be like, what movies have I seen in my life?
My whole life. Yeah, that's a lot of that. I mean, you watch a lot more than me, especially in the last few years, but yeah, I also had like a movie obsession phase.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, but now I'm almost 40, you know, I'm 39. So do I remember anything? No. So
that's what Letterboxd is for.
That's true.
So yeah, I've chosen 3 movies, but I think for all the categories. And let me know if you feel the same. Well, must say, since we're talking about astrology, I guess I am very much a Libra in the sense that I'm always changing my mind. So these are my 3 favorites: movies, food, and books for the time being. For today, I'm not even saying this year. Yeah. For today, not even for this week or this month. It might all change. I might look back and hear this episode when it comes out and be like, oh, now I would have had 3 completely different choices for each. But for
before you start, how did you choose like which one you're gonna start with? Is there like a best 3, and then there's one that's like your most favorite, the other next one, and next one, or it's just random?
Oh no, okay. I didn't even take it.
I did that.
Really?
Yeah.
I can. No, it's too hard.
You don't have to. I just kind of wanted to see what your process was.
No, because they're also like, for all of them, they're all so different from each other that for me they're like, you know, like I love them for really different reasons. They also came into my life at different moments. They each hold a special place in my heart, or in my stomach, I guess, for the food category, for different reasons. But I guess I'll start with my movies. So in no order, the first of my 3 favorite movies is a movie that I think you know, called Amelie.
Oh, yeah, of course. I was there last year where she was. No, I'm joking.
Oh, that's true.
I went to visit Montmartre. So, yeah.
No, and Paris, I know it's a bit, you know, overrated, but it really is.
No, it's not.
That's
I love
amazing.
Paris.
I love Paris as well.
Yeah,
I don't mind being basic. I love Paris. But yeah, like it's first of all, the haircut had such a chokehold on me. I tried to,
Did
unfortunately,
you do it?
I had that haircut more
That's
than once
amazing.
when I was a
Is
teenager.
that why your letterboxed profile photo is Amelie? 'Cause
That's
it is.
true. It is. So yeah, it's represented like also in my 4 favorites, so you
Yeah.
know it's real. But yeah, it's a movie from the early 2000s, from 2001, if I'm not mistaken. It's directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Wow, you really did your work.
I did my research.
No direction, nothing.
Maybe I just made that up. It does sound like a very made-up French person name. So, but yeah, like this is the one on my list that has been in my life for the longest period of time. I also had like quite like a film obsessed phase. Well, I'm still kind of in it. But when I was a teenager, I remember that I even had like a little scrapbook where I did like movie reviews and such. I think I talked about this in the previous podcast as well. And, you know, Tumblr obviously played a huge role. This was like a huge Tumblr movie. And for those that don't know it, it's basically the story of this woman living in Paris. And it's very whimsical, which I love a lot. I really like movies that are very like real, but I also like when movies really transport you and allow you to look at life through rose-colored glasses and really see the beauty in the mundane. Like I think Wes Anderson is also really good at that. But I think I always really love this film for how whimsical it is, and especially, I always really related to the character of Amelie in the way, well, in the haircut at certain points in my life. But also, like, I think it's very beautiful that she is this character that is at the same time very alone in the world. You know, she lives alone and she feels very different from people around her in her family and in her work life and in her community. But also it's a movie about being alone with others. So I think it's very beautiful about finding like this connection with the world, even if you're an introvert. So that's something that I find quite beautiful. And it's just such a quintessential comfort movie that if you're having a bad day, you can put it on and it instantly brightens your day, your week, your month. And it's actually, I was thinking if it was playing in Kino soon, but I actually think that was last year, and I missed it.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the movies either. Just watched it like at home.
Yeah, same. But
still,
yeah. I think that's really the first one of my favorite films. I guess I'll go chronologically.
Yeah,
that's also a way to
then,
just on the fly.
Okay, this is out of my mind, my hand. Sorry, right?
Yeah,
now.
exactly. It's dictated by time, by the
universe,
universe, by the passage of time. So that's my first entry.
Okay, so now it's my turn. I forgot about that. I actually, it took me a while, I think, to figure out the movies as we were talking before, because there are so many movies and I kind of forgot a bit what my favorites used to be. I used to have, since the age of 18 until a few years back, one favorite one, but after rewatching it, I kind of felt like it was a romance, but also like no romance, romantic drama, but it felt a bit, there were a few things there that I thought is kind of silly and a bit toxic maybe.
Oh, what
but
movie
like,
is it?
It was called If Only by Gil. I forgot the name of the director, but it was basically a movie where there's this couple and she always feels like he doesn't know how to show his love for her. But then you know what? This is it's not a spoiler because it's in the blurb, but if you watch it, I don't want you to know anything about it.
Okay.
But it's really very much a movie about knowing how to trust someone else with your feelings, even when you're bad with your feelings, but also how to know how to love that person. Like be yourself and very, very vulnerable for the love of that person. But sometimes you do need an awakening to realize that, hey, I don't want to lose this person. And it's a really good movie. The only things, like, there are a couple of things that he does in the movie that I was like, this is maybe a bit messed up, but maybe the movie is also not that bad, but maybe the movie is also a bit silly, I guess, now. but I still really enjoy it. And I used to watch
okay.
it every year on my birthday
If
for
only.
many years. If only.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I'll put it in the show notes as well.
Okay, cool.
So you can all find it. But then, so that one is out, and I chose, and this is by order of like from the least to most. Okay?
Oh, okay,
in
okay.
some way, although the like I'm very, very, very set on my favorite, so that was easy. But the other two are wildly different, so it's kind of I cannot. Maybe it's unfair to say that. And the first one is Inception.
Okay.
Because I really like how Inception basically has like an ending that messes up with you, but the whole premise messes up with you. Like the whole movie hangs on kind of like a weird premise, and I really like those layers that it brings to what is real, what is not, the dream world and the dream within a dream, but also how I really like, for example, heist movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, Inception just really works for me in a lot of levels. Like the cast is really good, the direction itself is really good, the story is kind of messes with your head, which I really like. So, but it's for me, it's really like I said, everything about the movie sounds like such a clever plot that I just really like it.
Yeah,
So,
it's really good. I agree. Yep. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites from Christopher Nolan. And there's something to be said about, like, I remember when that movie came out that everyone was talking about that ending. Yeah. Like, it's so iconic.
Yeah.
You know, like to this day. I feel like you don't get a lot of like monoculture moments like that anymore, that everyone is like obsessed with it, except like I guess Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, but also the fact that there is no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own theories, and some people believe one thing, some people believe another. And nobody is wrong because you don't know for sure.
What do you think?
It's not about what I think, it's about what I want to believe, I think. And I want to believe that it was real. I want to believe that the world is in and that he ends up, that it's like a happy ending. Okay. And that he truly, in fact, ended up with his kids and he's back with his kids and they're free. Yeah. That's what I want to believe in. Is that the one that I think it's true? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's so good. I agree. I don't really know. Good movie. Yeah.
But I think the first time I saw it, I didn't see the token not falling as, oh, maybe this isn't the real life. I saw it as like, it doesn't need to show us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just did that and then you move on because that's not what's important. It's kind of, for me, it was kind of letting go of the token.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, such a good movie.
Okay, so now it's your turn to go to your second movie.
Okay, so my second film, again, going chronologically. So there's quite a bit of room before movie number 1 and movie number 2 chronologically, both literally in the years they came out, but also when I saw them, logically. And the second film on my list is a film called Phantom Thread. It's really good. It's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, who you might have heard about him a lot because he did One Battle After Another, which is nominated for the Oscars now. And yeah, like, he's amazing. Like, some would say like the best American film director. Like, it's like between him and Tarantino for like film nerds, I guess. I do like Paul Thomas Anderson more.
Fuck Tarantino.
Yeah, I'm not like, even before the whole Paul Dano thing, like, I don't know if this is controversial, but if you start, oh, maybe I'll get cancelled for this, but
I already said fuck Tarantino, so
yeah, that's true. It's not gonna get worse than that. But I think with Tarantino, I do think like his movies can be iconic and can have like great moments in them. But when you start like watching those analyses that compare like Kill Bill to old Kung Fu movies, for example, you're like, damn, like this guy, like it looks great because it has been made before. He just like repackages things, you know?
Yeah.
That's my hot take.
Copy people.
I think he's a bit of a copycat. But I do like Paul Thomas Anderson more. He usually makes these very like long, sprawling, character-driven movies with a lot of characters and often a little bit like morally ambiguous characters. And Phantom Thread is a love story, essentially. The movie's from 2017, by the way. I forgot to mention that. But it's a love story that takes place in the UK in the 1950s between a dressmaker who is played by Daniel Day-Lewis and this young woman that becomes his muse, sort of, but not to give a lot away, but the relationship dynamic that comes to mind when you think of this is not exactly what ends up happening.
Oh, okay.
So it's very interesting. You were talking about like kind of toxic, murky behaviors in films. I think this relationship is extremely strange and toxic, but also very loving, but also very obsessive and sick. And I don't know, I kind of love those kinds of, I think one of the most interesting things in the world is relationships between people. And of course, like relationships of people to broader societal structures are super interesting, but I especially find like one-on-one relationships really interesting. And I think this film just, this relationship between these two people is so fascinating. Like you can't look away. The power dynamics keep shifting back and forth throughout the years and for different reasons. And
so it goes, it's not like 1 year, it goes, it's like
you cover like a longer period of time of this relationship. And it's also a movie that has a lot to say about art and about what it means to be a muse, what it means to love an artist, what it means to be an artist. And I think it's also, this is a little bit more superficial, I guess, but it's stunning. Like I think it might be like the most beautiful looking movie I've ever seen.
Important. I mean, it's a movie.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Sometimes even if it's a movie that you don't think, okay, the plot is okay, but you can still appreciate the fact that that is very pretty, that it looks really nice.
Yeah, but this one is like both. Like it's very juicy from a narrative standpoint, but then it's also like so beautiful to just like gawk at. The images, the landscapes, the fashion is amazing, of course. And the soundtrack is also really good. Paul Thomas Anderson, he always works with Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead, including on One Battle After Another. He also did the soundtrack, and I am reluctantly, because of recent events, a big Radiohead and Johnny Greenwood fan. So yeah, I really recommend it to everyone. Like it's just, and it goes without saying, the performances are amazing. I actually really wish I remembered the name of the actress, because she's really good. And she's playing up against Daniel Day-Lewis, which is like, and you know, she's on the same level as him, I would say. Like they're both amazing. So yeah, that's my number 2.
Okay, never heard of it, so it's one for the list. My number 2 is 10 Things I Hate About You.
I love that one.
I can watch the movie 3,000 times. I could watch it every week, and still, I actually rewatched it recently, a couple of weeks ago, and there isn't a time where I watch it that I don't have fun with it, even though I know what's going to happen. I know every scene. I just love it. And that's the curious thing, is that supposedly it is a bit of a teenage movie, right? It is about these two sisters.
It's a Shakespeare adaptation.
It's a Shakespeare adaptation, but it's just so good. Everything about it, like the whole plot, like there's this girl in high school and she can't go on dates because her father is like obsessed with the fact that she is going to get pregnant. So her sister needs to go on dates for her to go on dates. And there's a guy who's in love with her, but the other girl doesn't look at him. And it's just, I don't know, the whole plot, but then the subtleties of the story as well, like the characters, like the teacher who is writing an erotic novel.
That's true. That's so funny.
And who's so blunt and so kind of insane as a teacher, like with her role. She should be very serious and respectful, but no, she is unhinged. I love everything about it, and I can't, and like I said, maybe this is not a movie that has so intelligent, and so it's just such a fun movie to watch that I can't.
No,
get,
but it's really smart. It's really well written. I love like the shenanigans and like the Shakespearean shenanigans.
But also like you can be overwhelmed or underwhelmed, but can you ever be
well?
And it's like it's so.
And what
silly.
does she say? She's like, I think you can in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Or
also the Prada backpack, and there are things that really stick. And I know there are other similar movies also for like, let's say, teenagers, like for example, Mean Girls and stuff like that. But this one just sticks out to me. And also the you were talking about soundtrack. The music in this movie is so freaking good.
Really good.
It's so freaking
really good.
Like one of the characters just loves these bands, and then you have super cool music in it. I really love it.
And did you relate more to Kat Stratford? So like the main, very like moody, grungy teen, or the other one, the sister?
I don't know, because like the thing is, I am definitely not like the sister, which oh my god, I forgot the name. Bianca, of course, Bianca.
Yeah.
Like I'm not at all like Bianca. Bianca is like very feminine and very like just wearing these dresses and jewelry and stuff.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm crazy. No, never. But Kate I relate more to her in the sense that I would love to just be more like her.
Yeah, she's so cool.
She's so cool and so like self-assured. She knows what she wants. She goes for it. She's not like, how can I say this? Scary for her. She's not really intimidated by it. And I wish I was like that. She's also like a feminist, and for example, there are situations in which her teacher is making fun of her because obviously she's a white privileged girl, and her teacher is like a black man, and it's like, girl, like you're right, but fuck you because you're privileged. So oh my god. And that's like the little quirks that I love about the movie. But I do relate more to her, but also in a sense of I wish I was even more like her.
Yeah, I get that. I think, we need to bring back Shakespeare retellings in a high school setting, because Clueless is also so good.
I never watched Clueless.
Clueless could go on my list, honestly. Like, if I was stretching it, like, it's definitely one of my favorite films. Okay. I love Clueless.
I got it. It's on my list.
I recommend.
It's on my list because I put it to watch, but I haven't yet.
If you like this one, I think you will also like Clueless.
Okay, great. I'll watch that one next. But yeah, so how about your last movie?
So my last film came into my life the latest. I watched it for the first time, I think around 2 years ago, perhaps. But I have already watched it twice since then. And it's a movie that I feel I will continue to rewatch a lot of times in my life, because I don't know if you have this, but it's one of those movies or books, I guess, that each time I watch it, in this case, I get something new out of it. I
know what you mean, yeah.
And the movie is Yi Yi.
Never heard of it either.
It's a...
Wait, wasn't it in your newsletter? In the
yeah.
So then I have heard about it.
Yes, I wrote about... I made a note, actually. I should have mentioned this. I wrote about Amelie and I wrote about Yi Yi. Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And... it's a Taiwanese film from the year 2000, I believe. And it's directed by Edward Yang. And I think I wrote on the Chavan Girl that if an alien came down to Earth and they were like, what's being a human all about?
Yeah.
I would show them this film.
Wow.
And it's a movie about life, which is a pretty tall order, I understand.
I mean, it can be a lot of things, but I think I understand also when you say that what it means.
Yeah, it's essentially, it's a very like mundane film, basically about, I'm not sure, but like some months perhaps in the life of a family. So you're following this family and then you're seeing all these parallel storylines of what's going on with the grandma, what's going on with the dad, what's going on with the aunt, what's going on with the daughter. And they all have like these different experiences that they are going through. But it's just such a beautiful and tender look on life and death to a certain extent. Yeah, I think it's a film that everyone should watch. It's one of those films that I guess like Amelie, but in a completely different way because it's very grounded.
So it's more serious, let's say.
It's more serious, yeah.
Wow. Amelie is still quite, like you said, whimsy, but also kind of fun. There's a funny part
it's like a bit of adventure. This one's like very down to earth. It's more serious. There's like moments of like lighter moments in it, of course, but also very darker moments. But I think it's one of those films that when you walk out of the cinema, because I was lucky enough to actually watch it in the cinema twice. Thanks to Kino, because
Go
they did they did a retrospective. One time they were just playing it. I'm not quite sure why, but I remember last year it was the film's 25th anniversary, so sometimes they'll play movies back.
They did that with Pride and Prejudice.
We went to see together.
Yeah, we saw together. I forgot about that.
Also a favorite. Yeah, really good.
And I was so happy that I could watch it in the theater because I had never done that. It was always at home, so it's amazing. Yeah,
this one I've been so lucky, and I think when you walk out of the cinema, it gives you like a newfound appreciation for life, as corny as that sounds, but it's very beautiful. It is quite long, I would say. It's almost 3 hours long.
I mean, that's most movies.
Yeah, like that's most like superhero movies. Yeah. So but I don't know. I think it's a really beautiful film. It really stuck with me, and I really recommend it. And I think that it also says so much about you get the sense that there's also like these characters are grappling with the coming of a new era, especially the dads, and it's having been released at the start of a new millennium also feels quite relevant. Also very a little bit more discreet, but I think it also has something very beautiful to say about music, which for me is like a music studies graduate, I think also like appeals to me. But that would be my third favorite film.
Okay, very well. I'm doing like my niece. I moved. Like we're both immigrants, and my niece is still back in Portugal, but she's now 17, almost 18. So that means that we now start getting things that we both like.
Oh, that's so cool.
You know what I mean? And it's really cool. And last week we watched a movie together. Her from Portugal. We kind of call each other, FaceTime each other, and we watched the movie together. So she in Portugal, me here, and it was actually the movie I'm gonna talk next because she hadn't watched it yet. So I'm going to take note about these two movies for us to watch together because we are going to have some movie Sundays together. So it's gonna be
such a cute idea.
I think it's a wonderful idea because like I would like to spend more time with her, but of course she's far away, I'm far away. So that's not possible. So we just kind of found like, we can have like little dates even from a distance and then do something that we can also talk about it after and just kind of enjoy together. Yeah. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to take note of these two for that. And it's kind of like a segue to my last movie, which is my favorite movie of all time. And if you know me, you know which movie it is. And B already knew that I was going to choose this one. And it is Celine Song's Past Lives. I've watched the movie for the first time at Kino as well. I didn't buy the ticket beforehand, so I watched it like at the forefront of the cinema's room, like basically glued to the screen. And immediately from like day one, I was like, I love this. I absolutely adore this movie. People crying next to me and me as well at the end. And nowadays I cry less with it because I already know what's coming. And then a friend of mine also wanted to watch it. And I was like, I'll just go with you again. Like, I don't mind going, not again. I'll just go again and go with you. And it's funny because I actually told her that she is an immigrant like me. And she was like, but is the movie, like, can we go watch it with like Dutch subtitles? And I said, well, most of the movie is in English, so that's fine. And then we went to a Cinerama. And as soon as they started talking, like as soon as the movie began, I was like, what was I thinking? To me, most of the movie was in English because I watched it with English subtitles, but most of the movie is in Korean.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, no. But actually, she realized how good her Dutch was by watching the movie. Because with the subtitles, she could just follow the movie. And yeah, And she realized, oh, I actually know more Dutch than I expected, and I understood everything. So
I had the
fine.
same, sorry to cut you
No,
off,
no,
but
no,
I
of
had
course.
the exact same experience pretty recently. I went to see a film, Sentimental Value.
Yeah.
Really good movie. But I still feel like I want to rewatch it because the
Yeah.
thing is, the film, it's a Norwegian film.
Yeah.
And I also didn't check
The subtitles.
the tickets, like whether there were or not English subtitles, because in Kino, a lot of times there are. And I sat and the movie started and I noticed, oh, they are speaking Norwegian and the subtitles are in Dutch. Okay. Great. But yeah, like same, I also was like pleasantly surprised to see that my Dutch learning career has paid off. And I understood like the vast majority of the film, although
Yeah.
I don't know how it was for your friend, but I feel I was like so focused on reading and understanding the subtitles that I couldn't just like fully relax and just immerse myself in the film.
I don't think she had that trouble, but she's
Oh,
been
that's
living
good.
here for longer. So
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I think she just, underestimated how much Dutch she knew, which
Yeah.
is something
Many such
most
cases,
people
yeah.
do. It's just like, no, I don't know as much. But I just thought it was really silly of me to be like, no, most of it is in English. And then realizing in the spot, no, it's because you watched it with English subtitles. So in my mind,
You
most
didn't
of
even
it
realize, yeah.
No, most of it was in English. It was really silly. But like there's so many things that I love about the movie. I really love stories about I will find you in every life. I love that.
String.
Like, yeah, the invisible string, but more like the love. Like, love is so strong that I will find you in every life and past lives. And I think it's perhaps the thing I like the most about it is that, first of all, it's not romance, it's romantic drama, but it is not a common romantic drama because there is no, and I don't want to spoil it, but there is no possible good ending to that. There is no ending in the movie that will be completely and fully satisfying.
Yeah.
And like Celine Song did such a good job telling a story with that, and it's a bit a story of her life, so it's also a bit biographical. Part of it is biographical.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Part of it is biographical with like a friend that she had as a child. But that's what I'm saying. There is like you come to the end of the movie and you're so conflicted because it's like, okay, I wouldn't want it to end any other way, I don't think, but I also did. But there is no like perfect ending to that movie. And then we were talking about like the beauty of film, and the film that she filmed it with looks almost like an old color photography.
Yeah.
And there are so many quiet moments in that movie where she spends time just filming a curtain moving in the wind, or a glass of lemon and honey, and it's so there's a lot of space in that movie for silences. And I really love that. And again, I love that. I love the story of like the soulmates, which, what is a soulmate really?
Yeah.
But also the story of again, they talk about something called yin yang, which is like, sorry, I put a G there. It's not, it's yin yang, which is basically this belief that in several lives you can be connected to someone, and if you marry someone, you have 8,000 layers of yin yang. And I don't know, I just love the fact that you took that cultural concept and put it in the movie. And I don't know, I just love everything about it. Makes me cry, like I said, every time, even though now I cry less than I used to because it's such a pretty story. And there's no perfect ending to it, but it is a perfect ending the way it does in some way. I just really love it.
Yeah, I really
and
like that
language
movie
as
too.
well. Like, it speaks so much, especially like as an immigrant, you're kind of lost, and in different languages. And I speak for myself. I used to write a lot in Portuguese when I was growing up. I always wrote my entire life, and even though I took breaks, and then suddenly I kind of want to express myself in English so that more people will understand me, and the people in my life now are a lot fewer people are Portuguese than like immigrants like me or Dutch people. But like, I'm always lost between those two things, like my native language, which I know I can be a lot better in, and English. So I never feel like I'm doing enough or I'm doing good enough, but in some ways I kind of feel like I can't go back to Portuguese. Yeah. Maybe I can, but do I want to? It's such a struggle, and it really, like, I just, lay awake, let's say, thinking about that sometimes.
No, I think that's something that when I watched Past Lives, which I also really like, I also really connected with that, like the language barrier that you can have with the people you're around or the place you're in. And, as someone who is in a relationship with a person that we do not speak each other's mother tongues, at least not fluently, the line of "you dream in a language I don't understand" really hits hard.
Yes.
So I totally, and also as someone that I also, similar to you, always wrote a lot. And when I was a teenager, of course, that all happened in Portuguese.
Yeah.
And now I just, it doesn't really make sense for me to write in Portuguese anymore. Like, maybe it makes sense for me to take something I've written in English and translate it myself. But just like writing something off the cuff in Portuguese, like I feel I can't do it anymore, which is a little sad. Like,
I think we could, if it's hard because, for example, I started a newsletter in Portuguese, and I feel like my ideas and, of course, the language obviously flow a lot better in Portuguese because I know if I'm making mistakes or not to begin with, and I know how I can play with the language while still not making mistakes. You know what I mean? Because when you're a native to language, if something is maybe a bit out of the ordinary, but it still makes sense and it's still understandable to other people.
You have more flexibility.
You can play with it. And I really like to play with Portuguese. But sometimes I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Because also my entire life is done either in English or in Dutch. There's very few things in my life that are in Portuguese. So what am I going to write about that people might maybe want to read as well?
Yeah.
And so I'm always in that limbo. I always say that I'm in a limbo. Like, my English is not my native. My language is not my English. Sorry, it's not the language I feel the most comfortable writing in. But it is the language that the people understand me better. And when I have to go back to Portuguese, it's almost like I have to relearn every time that I'm doing the exercise of writing. And when I do, because again, I have that little newsletter in Portuguese, I have fun with it and I can do it. But I always default back to the English because who's going to read me in Portuguese?
Really? Me.
But like, it's like, who's going to read? But also, like, to whom am I putting so much effort in if it's not like a community? Because usually, when you're writing, you kind of expect at least a couple of people are going to see that. And sometimes I'm kind of like, who am I writing this for? And it should be for myself. But then I also see as like, I'm taking energy that I could be putting in writing something in English to write in Portuguese.
Yeah, like why?
Yeah, and for what? You know what
I mean? I get
silly.
what you mean. Like, I feel the opposite way when I'm writing. I have to, like, if I start thinking about who is going to read it, then it freaks me out. But I guess that's like more like a confidence thing. But I think it's so funny having read both your work in English and in Portuguese. It's so funny. I feel like you are a different writer in English and in Portuguese. And I feel very privileged that I get to read both of those Carinas.
Yeah. But it's, again, comes with the conversation that we have different personalities in different languages as well.
Totally.
And I do feel like my writing, at least I'm doing essays. I'm not writing stories anymore, right? I'm not writing any fiction in Portuguese, so I'm just doing essays in Portuguese. And I do feel like there's like a persona there that is who I am in Portuguese, and it's not who I am in English.
Yeah, totally.
Even though I'm like, I have the same personality, I'm the same person in both languages, but also not.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. Like I relate. Yeah.
Kind of segue.
Yeah.
To something else.
Yes. But this to say, like, Past Lives is a really wonderful film. I agree. Yeah. How do you feel about Materialists, her latest film?
I really like Materialists, especially when I watched it the second time, I must admit. Like, I watched the first time, we also went together, I think, right?
Did we watch it your first time or your second time?
My first time.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We went together. And I still liked it. I was like, okay, this is... But I also think that everybody was a bit misled by the fact that everybody went to pre-screenings was saying that, oh, she reinvented romance again. First of all, the movie is not romance. Exactly. No, it's a romance, but it's again a romantic drama, and it wasn't reinvented. It was very basic triangle formula. It was what it is. What you expect it's going to happen, it's what happens, with some unexpected there. And I think a lot of people were disappointed because of that, because you expect her to again do what she did with Past Lives, because I do think that Past Lives is kind of like, it's a different movie than most movies I've watched. I think Past Lives is in a level of its own. And I'm not saying that just because it's my favorite. It's kind of the other way around. It is my favorite because of this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Past Lives is on its own level, and it's completely different. So she did reinvent telling a story, I feel, with Past Lives. The Materialists was more of the same. But I still liked the story. And the second time, like I said, there are a lot of comedic places in it and spots in it that I really enjoyed. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but with Harry. And I also think a lot of people are very hung up, I think, on the character played by Pedro Pascal.
Which is Harry, right?
Which is Harry, and it's not the main love interest, if let's say like that. So everybody's just like, oh, if she ends up with Chris, who is like just this, basic white guy, I don't care for this movie. And I think a lot of people were basically upset that like Harry is not the main love interest.
Do you think that's like a parasocial thing that people were seeing Pedro Pascal and not the character?
Yeah. Okay. They were seeing Pedro Pascal as Pedro Pascal, rather than Pedro Pascal as this guy. Meets. So
interesting.
It's I think a lot of people were upset because of that. Because like, oh, but if it was me, but it's not about you, and it's not Pedro Pascal. It's not about Pedro. It's so it's I think a lot of people disliked it because of that. I think they expected more from it. They expected a more non-traditional love triangle and love story, and also Pedro Pascal.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I like Past Lives more. Definitely.
Oh, I mean, there's no
there's no
I'm
competition.
sorry, Celine, but there's no just in case she's listening. But there is no, for me, there's also no comparison. Again, I know a lot of people are upset with the Materialists. I don't see that, because I really still very much enjoy the Materialists. And again, I like the way she tells a story. I like the way she films a story. I think it talks a lot about things that, if you go beyond the surface of the movie, about dating, about capitalism, the jokes about like the guys having to be at least 6 foot, like there's a lot in it that I think is very important to our society and to think about it. But Past Lives, it's in a league of its own.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure,
definitely.
Again.
Yeah, I think Materialists was fine. Like I felt people I didn't understand like the heightened reactions to that film, because people, well, not so many people, but some people loved it, but some people hated it, and that I was like, it was fine.
Again, expectations and Pedro Pascal.
I guess that's
like everybody that I saw talking about it, even if they don't admit it to themselves, if they did some introspection, they would figure out that it is.
Like subconsciously, you think that's getting in the way.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would be, okay, this is going to be a spoiler. So if you
spoiler
haven't
alert.
watched the movie, spoiler alert. But I do feel like if she ended up, which, I mean, it's not really a spoiler, because again, the movie is your regular love triangle.
Yeah, you see it coming from a mile away.
You see it coming. It's about the love of your life. It's about the person who you can't forget. And it doesn't matter. And it's about money as well a lot. And I think that if Pedro Pascal was playing the role that Chris Evans plays, that people would be happy with the movie. Because a lot of people came with like the
broke man,
the argument of like, first of all, broke man propaganda. Like, hello, what about true love propaganda and not money propaganda? Like, what about,
you're such a romantic.
What about the being with the person you love despite money? And I know money does bring happiness,
but I feel like
I'm a Capricorn, I know that, but
just to be like the devil's advocate, I do, if we're getting like really heavy into spoiler territory, I felt that a lot of people, myself included maybe, would have preferred to see her not end
alone.
up with either of them. Like, why
Yes.
does it have to be a binary?
That-
like,
yeah.
okay, this guy or that guy,
Neither.
you have to choose. Because Chris Evans, I don't think his character, I don't remember his name, but
John.
yeah, John.
Yeah,
Okay.
John.
I don't even think it's necessarily about like, oh, like he's broke. I think there were other things as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like, you know,
It's been 7 years since you broke up because you were broke and you didn't do any. But I have a bit of beef with that, because I also think when he saw that there was a chance that she could come back to him, that he then took a step forward to better himself for her. That's how I read it.
But not even that much. Like at the end, I remember they're having like, you know, I think he's like proposing to her or something, and he's like, yeah, and I promise, like, I'm probably going to forget like our anniversary. Like, you know, just kind of like committing to like not doing any self-improvement, just like kind of like take me as I am.
But he
sort
also
of
he
vibes.
does promise some changes to her. Like he does promise that he's going to like do his best to become the man that she deserves.
Yeah,
But at the end, when he's proposing, he does say to her, and I did like that, because I think it's kind of a different part of it. And for me, I think the thing that one thing that annoyed me is like mostly from the arguments, not from the movie itself. Why is everybody acting as if he's the only one who's broke when she makes so fucking little living in New York? Why is everybody just calling him as if he should have to take care of her? They are both two adults who should both work towards improving their lives.
Yeah, I just felt like...
And he just says, do you want to make a really bad financial decision together? That's how he proposes. So and I think it just goes with the vibe of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think she did have more money than him. But
yeah.
I think it's more like...
But people were saying, well, 80,000 a year, that's nothing where she is. Like in New York.
I didn't get into like the nitty-gritty, financial advisor
discourse about the movie, like a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that's something that, like, you know, people were noticing, but like, I felt, the way I felt was more like, when you look back onto their relationship, you see that this money thing is an issue in their relationship. It doesn't have to be, but for them it is, and that's okay. And when they get married at the end, I'm like, I don't believe that 5 years from now they're going to be back fighting about her wanting to go to a nice restaurant and him not being able to afford that. So I
don't know. I kind of saw it as she also growing up.
Do you think she changed?
Yeah, I think she changed as well. I think she kind of realized that, listen, maybe money isn't all that's, you know, set to be in that sense. Like he's doing, because I thought that the bit where he goes to buy food and he tells the guy keep the change was already for me a sign that there was some change there. There was some change and he's doing better.
There literally was some change there.
That is really good. But that he was doing better already and becoming more like also giving with money and I kind of felt like, okay, that's a reason maybe that he has already changed a little bit for her. And I also think that she also, because money, that's the thing, I don't think money was that important for him. I think money was very important for her. I don't think he would mind going to any restaurant in New York celebrating with her as long as he was with her, which can be a problem, I know, because you don't live out of thin air, you know what I mean? Like you need to make a living. But I also think at some point, and I think it's why the movie is called The Materialists, not everything is about money. And I think she also realized that. She's like, well, there's this man who was there when I needed him and who I actually managed to love. And then the other guy came along and he had all the fucking money in the world. He gave me everything I wanted, but I don't love him. And I just realized I'd rather be with someone who's broke and loves me and I love him back than with someone who has a lot of money and it's all transactional. Because with money, there's going to be transaction there. And I think that was the thing. There was like some change within both of them, and also as a couple.
Damn. Yeah. Well, it's a movie. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you kind of go deep in the movie and what it's trying to tell you, there's a lot to talk about. And I also, again, I still think I would prefer for her to just stay alone.
Yeah. Okay. We agree on that.
No, for sure. I don't think any of them was like a perfect decision. But I do think within the movie and the premise of the movie, it made sense for her to end up with.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Just went like completely
Yeah,
out
we
of
two ended up talking the most about a movie that both of us thought was fine.
Yeah, that's it.
Ultimately.
But it's very difficult to talk about past lives without like giving any spoilers as well, I feel. Like there's so
True.
much about it, there's just gonna be a spoiler. So let's go watch it.
Yes.
You have two people telling you it's really good.
I
so
recommend.
go watch it. All right. Now we are going to take a little break in the story, let's say, aside, and we are going into favorite foods.
Ooh.
Do you want me to start so then you end?
Sure.
Because like the opposite of what we did now.
Smart.
Just to, mix up things a bit. I also did basically kind of things I like the most, so I think I'm going to have to do a switch here. So I'm going to keep with that. I'm going to keep things I like the least to things I like the most.
Okay.
And I think I'm very basic, okay? And I think I would choose for my first dish, Prego no prato.
So
Or,
good.
as you say in Lisbon, bitoque.
Yeah.
Because in Portugal, depending on the
True.
region, people say different things. I call
Love
it
a
Prego no
bitoque.
prato,
Love a good bitoque.
which is a nail on a plate.
Yeah.
Bitoque has no translation because it's a word. It's just a word, right? Bitoque doesn't mean anything
I
except...
don't think so.
No. Prego no prato is like a nail on a plate, and it's a Portuguese meal, and it might be one of the most known Portuguese meals, and it's like steak. I am trying to eat less meat, okay, especially red meat,
but these are like special meals.
yeah, and
right?
not just that, it's like comfort because it's
Yeah.
Portuguese. I grew up with that. But it's like steak, and then you have an egg, which we call a horse, like on a horse because it's over cavalo.
Yeah.
So the egg is on a horse because it's on top of the steak. Okay, so it's kind of riding.
It's like riding the
riding the
steak.
steak.
Yeah.
And then it has rice and potatoes and salad.
Crazy,
I know.
crazy
The first
meal
time-
composition,
listen,
by the way.
The first time I made this meal at home, I was in Belgium already, and I served it to an American friend, and he freaked out because he was like, "What do you mean you have rice and fries? It's either or, not
Nope.
like not both."
No rules.
But no, for us it's everything because you want to serve people like properly, and by serve I mean you want to put like a good portion. It has to contain everything. So I think it's one of my favorite Portuguese meals, and it's just amazing, and I love it, and I think that's the one I would choose. There's nothing in that meal that I don't love.
Yeah, the sauce is usually really
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah, it has, but sometimes it's just like some butter sauce, like the
Yeah,
fact
no,
that it's just
nothing
cooked on the-
crazy.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, like
Ugh.
some butter cooked in butter and garlic always.
Yes.
And it's just like, but then you also have like extras because we have like this very, very famous dish as well called francesinha, little French girl, if you translate. And sometimes you have like a prego no prato with francesinha sauce. So there are...
That's interesting.
You never
There's
had that?
layers to this.
Yeah.
No.
There's loads of like, and then you have sauce of the house, like the house sauce,
Yes.
which is another different sauce. There's like, you can mix and match.
How do you feel about Portugalia?
I've never been to Portugal.
No.
Nope.
Not even in...
Nope. Not even. I know what it is
Oh.
in Portugal because we were talking about it. How in Portugal is more like a kind of fast food, already almost fast food place, and here in Rotterdam is like a fancy place. I wanted to go to Portugalia,
You have to go.
but I saw that you pay for Prego no prato 27 euros. Which listen,
okay,
I
never
understand
mind.
it's the Netherlands. Okay, I get it. I don't want to be like, oh, but it's like you make a lot more money here. I know, but it's painful when you used to pay like 10 euros.
No, it
for
doesn't
a
make
meal,
any sense.
and then
no.
you're gonna pay 27 for a basic meal like that. So I haven't gone to Portugalia yet, but I want to.
Okay, we have
Maybe
to make
we
that.
go together.
We should make
Let's
that
make
happen.
A date, yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah, it will hurt to pay that
Yeah, but
much, but it's once and
Like,
one and done.
I kind of have to be like, okay, I just agree. It's like when we went to Hot Pots. I went to Hot Pot with a friend, and I spent like 50 euros there.
But Hot
Each
Pot's
of
a bit
us,
more generous,
each of
I feel.
us,
Like, you
okay?
do get a lot,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah. No. But it's like we had the two soups, basically,
Yeah.
like the broth, not soup, the broth. So we chose two broths, and each broth is already 14 euros.
Christ.
So that's already 28 euros, you know what I mean? But it's like, I kind of like, we're going to that place, I know the prices, and we're going to pay, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
I was checking the prices, and I was like, okay, you know what? I need to put in my mind that I'm going to pay for this.
But you should also go to Portugalia in Portugal, because then you won't pay as much and it might be better.
I don't know. Yeah, good question. I don't know.
I
Have
don't
you
know
been there?
actually. I haven't been to the one here.
Yeah, okay.
Never.
Okay.
Same reason.
Yeah.
But Portugalia was like my hyper fixation
Really?
meal.
We're
Like
obsessed with
when
it?
I was a kid, I was like every single birthday special occasion, I was like, can we go to
Really?
like Portugalia?
That
And I
is
still
amazing.
like, I mean, you know, jury's out like on my status as a flexitarian, but when
Yeah.
I do go to Portugal, I always have a Portugalia steak.
Okay, we
Like,
gotta
we
go and
took-
try that.
Yeah.
To do a little, because Bia is vegetarian.
No.
But she will make sometimes like, no, it's like vegetarian except. Like you are vegetarian except.
I'm more this year.
Yeah.
I am leaning more towards the pescatarian
Yeah.
label.
That's
I
what
am
I'm
trying
do,
to.
actually.
I'm trying to eat more fish because I also have like quite low iron.
Okay.
I know it's possible to get it like from
Yeah.
plant-based sources, but I do love fish,
Okay.
which actually ties into one of my
Oh, cool.
choices. But yeah, I would say like pescatarian, and I do eat meat like if I'm traveling someplace and it's just easier, or if it's a bitok.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
never
go.
turn down the bitok.
Yeah, I've been trying to eat less meat as well, but I still keep the like fish and shrimp and stuff because I love shellfish.
Same.
So I am trying, and I'm still eating some chicken. So my efforts are, I'm very lazy to cook, and sometimes my partner just comes home, is like, oh, I'm gonna make this meal, and it's usually with chicken. Do you want it? I was like, do I want it or do I want to cook? No, okay, I want it. So I don't want to cook, so let's do that. But yeah, so bitok is just like, it's very simple meal, but again, it's very comforting to me, and I really love the Portuguese steak, the way that they cut it. Like it's, the cow is cut differently in different countries, and here I'm not a big fan of like that big, thick steak. And I really love it.
Here is it very high.
It's very high. It's
I've
like
never
very
had it
thick,
here,
and then,
so
and then you really, to have it like medium well done, you have to cook it a lot on the outside. It's not as nice. And the Portuguese steak is thinner, so it's easier to just get what you want.
I'm getting hungry.
And then, I know. But sorry.
Well, I'm gonna make it worse. So I don't really like, for food, I really don't have an order because I cannot, like, I don't know, different. Yeah, it's a depends on the mood, depends on the vibe. Like I really cannot compare these because they're quite different. But I'm gonna actually piggyback off the Portuguese nostalgia, and I'm going to go further down the menu of our imaginary tasca that we're making up here, and I'm going to say any grilled fish.
Okay.
In Portugal.
All right.
Specifically.
Yeah. In Portugal. Yeah.
So. Can be a sardine in the summer. It's very Lisbon core, I feel, as well. Can be also white fish like a sea bass or a sea bream. So yeah, grilled fish with, again, some potatoes and rice and a salad.
But fried potatoes or cooked potatoes?
Cooked. With fish cooked.
Or what we call
murro.
Murro, which is punched potatoes.
Those.
They're good, right?
Those, yes. For me, I always have this dichotomy. Fish, it's like baked potatoes, meat, fries.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. For me, that just makes sense.
Because I think that's how we grow up.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have fish with fries. Like,
yeah.
I know that chips and fish and chips is a thing in England.
Yes.
But for us in Portugal, if you make fish, you either make cooked potatoes or in the oven.
Yes.
And it's either, but you don't do fries usually with fish.
And the other way around as well. Yeah. When you eat a steak, usually it's with French fries. Yeah.
Unless you want to make it, I'm going to make it a little healthier today. And then you put like some cooked potatoes.
Yeah, but then you're still going to drench them in like salt and olive oil. So you throw caution to the wind. But yeah, as I said, I am eating more fish in 2026. So actually I have a fish store next to my house, a Vispalas. And so I went there and I got myself a little cut of a sea bream and I melted some butter. I put it in the oven with melted butter and garlic and some nice aromatics and lemon. And so good. Like, obviously it's not the same thing as eating it in Portugal, but yeah, like I think it's the same as you. It's just so nostalgic, to eat a nice grilled fish by the seaside. Especially I was raised on the coast. So for me, it's very, very, It's one of the things I look most forward to doing when I go back home for the summer is eating a grilled fish.
That is funny because for a long time in my life I didn't like fish, and I come from a fisher's town.
Yeah.
And my father's family, not my father, but my father's family are mostly fishermen. But I did not like fish. And then I still have this relationship with fish that if I go out, and I'm not talking about shellfish. I like shellfish above everything, okay? But if we're talking about fish, I go out to eat, I will not pay for fish. If I'm gonna eat fish, it's gonna be at home. Because if I'm going out to eat, I either get shellfish or meat.
Yeah.
I'm not getting fish. And it's kind of silly, I know, because I love salmon. And then it's like, I can make salmon at home. So if I'm going out and if I'm paying, I will not have, which is a shame because we have a lot where I'm from, like my little town by the sea. There's loads of restaurants with amazing really fresh fish. There. Like they go to the market on the day, and the market people go to the haven, like to the port, every day to get fresh fish.
You have to go eat a little grilled dorada.
Yeah, I'm just not like, I like it, but it's not. I like other things better.
I think I like fish more than meat, which also makes it easier to be pescatarian.
No, but for me, no, it's the other way around. I love meat. I try not to eat a lot of meat, but I prefer meat to fish. And for a long time, I didn't even like fish at all. It was more as an adult when I moved out of the house and stuff and started doing, for example, salmon. Mm-hmm. But also like tuna. I love tuna as well. But I mean, from a can. I never tried actual tuna.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
I'm not a huge tuna
fan. But I love tuna.
Say.
But it was things that I kind of discovered later on. And I think it was because also my mom used to make fish and it was mostly cooked fish. And cooked fish is just not it. So
yeah, it can be a little bland, I guess.
I don't remember my mom ever making like fish in the oven, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think by the time she started, maybe she made sometimes fish in the oven, I already didn't like it. Which was weird, because I have heard that when I was really like tiny, like a toddler, I used to love fish.
Oh,
so something happened there. I don't know what it was, but something happened there. So yeah. So, now it's me, right?
You have another fishy one there.
I do have another fishy one, although I must admit is mostly shellfish than it is fishy. Actually, I'm seeing like 2 of them in this list are fishy, which is
what's going on?
Thing to do.
Actually, you're more of a fish lover than you think.
Maybe I am, but it's very specific, not Portuguese. Because the next one that I brought to the table is sushi. And I love sushi, but I also admit, for example, I'm not a big fan of sashimi. It's too much. It's
very fishy.
It's too fishy.
I
like I can have like one or 2 slices and then I'm done. But I love, for example, tempura with shrimp, and that's where it comes again. Like all of my sushi dishes, and for example ramen as well. I love ramen, but I'm not a big fan of pork, so I always eat like the tempura.
Yeah. So
the shrimp basically, or a shrimp one. That's always the ones I choose. So even the sushi, even though I do have like just the raw fish with the rice and stuff, even the temaki and stuff I really like with salmon. And I sometimes make at home as well. Like now everybody's making the sushi lasagna. Have you seen? Which is basically
what is that?
You put smoked salmon, rice, avocado, and cucumber, a nori, like a seaweed, and then more rice, and then you really like put it together as if it's a lasagna.
Okay, but no cheese, right? Because I was scared of
well, sometimes some people put cream cheese. I don't do that.
Okay.
And then you just kind of like press it together so it's all very compacted together. And then you just cut it in squares and you eat it with some
soy sauce or
if you want soy sauce and seaweed, and that's it. And it's very easy to make at home. I made it last week and it's amazing actually with a smoked salmon. But for example, I love that, and I make sushi bake as well, which is with tuna, but you can also make it with salmon and like surimi. So there's a lot of things that comes with sushi that I love, but I'm not the biggest fan of sashimi.
Okay.
But I think if I had to kind of choose between meals, like what if you want to eat like a meal for your whole now you have to choose one type of cuisine for your whole life. I would go with sushi.
Really?
Because it's also so
it's super filling as well.
Filling, but also like it's mostly healthy. And it's also so varied. You have so many options with sushi.
You're
not always eating the same thing.
I feel like with sushi, I discovered it like pretty late. I think I started eating sushi when I was like in college or something.
I was 21 the first time I tried
it. Yeah, same. Like, I don't know. I was always like, oh, raw fish. I don't know, And I really liked it, and I really do like sushi, but I don't know, I feel like there is something about sushi that if you have ever had bad sushi,
Oh yeah, no.
there's a before and
Oh,
after.
yeah, no,
And I'm definitely
no.
like, now because I've had like
Bad
really
sushi?
bad experiences, I'm always like, I'm a bit scared,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
If you go to a buffet, do never have sushi in the buffets. The sushi buffets are the worst ever. Like, I never had sushi as bad as in sushi buffet. Oh yeah, I know.
Sends a shiver down my
It's just like,
spine.
no.
I love
no.
sushi though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I still think like sushi is still one of my favorite things, just in general. And you have again so many options. You have with egg alone. You have with tuna. You have with just avocado. With just shrimp. With just cucumber. You know what I mean? Like you have temakis, which are actually my favorite sushi is temaki.
Which ones are those?
And the temaki is the rolled one, the one that looks like a cone.
Oh, those
You
are
know what I
good.
mean? Those are my favorite. Like,
You know,
it's
yeah.
both my favorites are like the temaki, the sake temaki, which is with salmon, and the ebi tempura, which is again with the shrimp.
Yeah.
Like, you know, those are my favorite. Like, if I could eat that every day, I would.
Yeah. Another thing I would like to hypothetically, but I don't think I could eat it every day. But there is something I could eat every day.
Yes.
Which is the next item on my list.
Yes.
Just because you said that, and actually that's how I came to this item is, you know, I guess you already answered the question, but sometimes I ask myself if I had to eat one cuisine every single day for the rest of my life and I would never get sick of it, for me personally, it would be Indian food.
Okay.
I love Indian food.
I'm not the biggest. I love. Okay, I'm gonna sound very white and basic, but I love butter chicken.
Well, who doesn't?
But I'm not a big fan in general of curry. Like my mom used to make like a curry chicken at home because I think that's very. My father lived in Mozambique for a few years.
Yeah,
and I just
Mozambique
didn't really
also
like
has
it.
really
I'm
nice.
Not the biggest fan
curry.
of like curry in general, but I do need to try more things because I didn't even try like biryani. Because I'm this kind of person that when I go to a restaurant, I have okay, I like this meal and now I'm gonna only eat this meal. And I like butter chicken so much that every time I think I'm gonna order something else. It happens the same with Chinese. When I order Chinese, I always order the egg shrimp meal. And every time I'm like, maybe I'll order something else today. And what if I don't like it as much?
Yeah, but I have the same thing with this item. I just happen to, instead of, butter chicken is amazing. There's this amazing video. I'll send it to you if you want to put it on the show
maybe
notes.
There should be like
for
with
the
sushi.
Food section.
Because maybe like with sushi, there should be like an Indian buffet. You can just buy like small bites of everything. And then
to Indian tapas, like
Indian
a cross-cultural. There is this video of this guy who does like food reviews. And he's the whitest guy ever. He's in like Missouri or something. And he's like, okay, today I'm gonna eat Indian food for the first time.
Yeah.
And he takes a bite out of the butter chicken and he's like freaking out. He's like, wait, I'm tweaking. Like this is so, and people in the comments are like, I'm so jealous. Like, what wouldn't I give to eat butter chicken for the first time? But the one I chose and then I stuck to it, like I'm the same. But it's Palak Paneer.
Okay.
So it's
because with cheese.
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
so it's with paneer. That's an Indian cheese that has a very high melting point, I guess, because it stays like kind of solid even when it's cooked, so it doesn't melt.
Yeah.
But it's very flavorful, and it's this cheese, this paneer, and then the curry is a blend of spinach with other herbs, and it's so good. Same thing we used to when I was growing up. We had a actually it was a Nepalese restaurant, although this dish is Punjabi, I believe. But they had this paneer dish there, and I always ordered the same.
Yeah.
I never changed my order, and it's still like, even if I'm going to like a new Indian restaurant, I always test out the paneer because I've had it so many times that now I can kind of compare them and be like, oh, I like this one better than that one. Like it's so good. Like, yeah, I could, sushi maybe not, but that I could eat every single day and not get sick of it ever.
Okay. And now it comes my most favorite dish ever. And we're going back to Portuguese cuisine. And it's polvo a lagareiro. And because people are not going to know what it is unless they are Portuguese.
That's a really good choice,
basically,
I have to say.
And people are going to be like, this is terrible because it's octopus, okay? And I know that you have to you gotta get used to eat octopus if you don't grow up with it. Because people's like, it's so rubbery, etc.
I find the squid way worse, I have to say.
I like both, to be honest. Like, I really like both.
No, I like them. I like octopus, but I find squid more like squishy than octopus.
But for example, my favorite part of octopus is the tentacles. And most people who kind of like, I don't know if I would like octopus, when I say that, it's like, okay, I definitely would not like the tentacles. And it's my favorite part because I think it's most flavorful. And it's basically octopus in the oven with some herbs. I never made it myself, so I don't know what it takes. But then it has the potatoes we were talking about, like the punch potatoes, which is basically cooked potatoes with a peel that then the people just punch them for them to open. And they are amazing, and I could eat this every day. And unfortunately, it is one of the most expensive dishes in the menu of a Portuguese restaurant. It's octopus, but it's my favorite. I just love it.
I think they use the what you call it, the liquid that
the ink.
The ink. I think they might use the ink to cook it as well,
Maybe.
Right?
I don't know,
because I know that you use it for other dishes
as well. Like they have some
for the squid definitely.
Yeah. But also for the pasta, for example, I think like the black pasta.
Oh,
I think it is with the ink of the,
is that a Portuguese thing?
No, but it's like sometimes they have like they call it like sea pasta or something, and it's with the ink of the squid of the octopus. I don't know for sure that they make that black pasta, so that's why the pasta itself already tastes so fishy. So you usually eat it with like shrimp or something, not with meat.
But polvo lagareiro, like, yes, it will be the most expensive item on the menu in a Portuguese restaurant, which is still cheaper than a really subpar sandwich in the Netherlands.
I went to a Portuguese restaurant here for my birthday, and I paid 32 euros just for the octopus.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is, again, it's very expensive, but it's quite expensive.
But it was worth it.
Oh yeah, always. It
was good.
That's the thing. I never regret it.
No, I get it.
I think it might be my favorite dish. It doesn't change the fact that I would still, if I had to choose a cuisine, I would still go to the sushi cuisine. But it is my favorite dish of all time.
Portuguese is a close second then. Yeah, for me too. And my last one, not last in preference, just on the list, like I love them all equally, is related to the first group of items we discussed, which is popcorn in the cinema, but salted.
Wait a minute. You took a turn here. You went from a meal to a snack.
Oh, well.
Which, okay.
I can eat enough to it counts as a meal.
Girl dinner.
Literally, that's beer dinner. Like eating a huge bag of popcorn in the cinema.
I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm saying that you thought outside the box. I stayed within the box.
Oh, but I don't know. Like, I'm trying to snack less as well.
Yeah, but popcorn,
popcorn,
especially with salt, because I'm a sugar bitch. Sorry, because I grew up. The first time I had popcorn with salt, I was already a teenager. I don't know how old I was, but I must have been maybe 15, 16. I went to the movies alone, and I asked the guy some popcorn, and they put salt in it. I think they actually put salt and sugar. It was like their popcorn there.
Oh, like a mix.
It's actually a cinema. No, but I like that. Oh. But it's like a cinema that doesn't exist anymore, as far as I know, in where I grew up. And I tasted it and I was like, what is this? And I did not know that popcorn with salt was a thing, that it was a snack or anything. Because my parents always made, my whole family actually, because I also had like popcorn with my cousins and stuff. Everybody just put sugar.
When we did it at home, we put salt. That's so funny.
Yeah, but I wish, because salt is it's a bit, it's maybe a bit healthier, I think, as a snack.
I'm not sure.
Well,
I like it more.
Depends if you're, how your salt intake is.
But I mean, for me, I feel like I do like to make popcorn at home, but it just doesn't hit the same. No. Like, I don't know what kind of crack they put, especially if you go to like the really big like pate ones.
Tell me something. Don't you think the popcorn in Portugal, when you go to the cinema, is like a lot better than anything you tried ever in the Netherlands? Oh. Because they do. Oh, maybe not. Because you don't like the caramel.
No, I'm a purist. Ones. I'm like, no, just salt. Like, stop making shit up.
Like in Portugal,
just salt, no cheese. no caramel. Like, stop
No,
it.
but they put caramel in a lot of, at least in the north.
But
they
that's
put
in
a
the
lot
sweet
of
ones, I
caramel,
guess.
and it's a sweet
I
one,
wouldn't know.
and it's fucking amazing.
I don't like the
cannot
sweet
find
ones.
anywhere else the same.
So I don't like the sweet ones. And I remember like one time, not that long ago, I was in Portugal a couple of years ago, and I went to the movies with a friend to watch Wicked,
Yeah.
which is a pretty long movie.
Yeah.
And I got like a big bowl of popcorn, and I start eating them, and it's like,
previews.
oh, like yes, it's sweet. That's weird. And then I take another one, it's also sweet. So they had given me the mix, and I was
Yeah.
so angry that I almost couldn't focus on the film.
Oh my god.
Because I had to, like, I kept getting
Pick them.
disappointed whenever
Yeah.
I got a sweet, like, I don't like sweet popcorn, and I'm very territorial as well. Like, I'll get popcorn for myself, and I don't like,
To
I
share.
sound like such an asshole, but I don't like sharing them.
Oh, I'm a bit like Joey. I don't
Yes,
share
I
food.
also
I'm
don't
sorry.
share food.
I don't mind if we order, like, for example, we go to Takumi, like,
Oh, other food is okay,
and,
just
and
popcorn.
we order like mixes. But if we actually have a meal, I just rather have my meal. You can try a bite, but I just rather have my meal. Okay.
Yeah, like,
And
yeah.
popcorn, I also like. I prefer to just like we both buy a small thing, and I just eat
Exactly.
mine and you eat yours.
I
okay?
remember even being like on situations, like, I don't know, like on dates or whatever,
Yeah.
that I'm ordering
share.
popcorn, and and the person's like, oh, let's share. I'm like, I'll buy you.
But the thing is, I don't mind
Yours.
share if we have two different. Like if the person in the cinema tells me, like, gives me two popcorn bags.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll pour half of my popcorn to you.
Yeah, but it
That's
has
okay.
to be, there
But I
has to
want
be a
my
division.
container.
I agree. I don't like to share the container.
Especially because I have a tendency to just like, oh, I'm gonna let them eat now. And then I don't. You know what I mean?
I don't have that
It's just
tendency.
like, no, I do, and I don't want to be thinking about it. So just, yeah, like if you give me a free, like an empty container, and I pour half of mine, I'll share it with you. But I want my little container. That's why I like having chips, like not from the bag, but just have like my little bowl.
Yeah,
No matter where I
get
am.
it. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
give me my little bowl.
Bowl enthusiast. Yeah,
Just like that a
love
lot.
popcorn, love salted popcorn, and yeah, I do love Kino. I do wish they had popcorn.
Same.
Because I don't like, because I love popcorn so much, I like, by principle, I never take like the alternative snacks. I'm like very faithful to the popcorn.
in the cinema, yes, I feel
like
in
I
the
don't want to
cinema
eat
it just makes
chocolate in the
sense.
cinema. I'm like, what? Like, that
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Although I do admit, I like a popcorn with like some M&Ms on top.
No.
I do.
That's,
I do.
yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm
Just
very like
surprise
conservative.
flavor,
No,
like
no
once in a
surprises,
while.
just
I actually
corn
went to
and
the-
salt.
I went to the movies yesterday to Kino, and I actually didn't eat it, but I took a bag of popcorn from Werther's Original because they have the popcorn, but it's caramelized.
Illegal.
That's why I like it. I know. I'm
What a rebel.
non-abiding citizen, but also non-law-abiding. I mean, but also I put like some Bugles chips in it, and then I
are
kinda
those the
mixed
little
it.
cones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, most people's like, that's insane because there's a salted flavor and a sweet flavor, but I just really like
Well, but
that.
that's the same principle as like the half-half,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
makes sense.
Okay. So now it is the last bit of our choices, let's say our favorites, and it's books. So how do you want to start?
Sure. I'll kick things off. The first book I've chosen is, well, here there's really no rhyme or reason. I'm just gonna like put it out there. But the first one is a little different from the rest because it's a childhood book.
Okay.
I don't know if you took any of those.
No, I haven't, but I can see why.
I think I had to choose something from my childhood because I think that's really where my love of reading was
Your
born.
formative reading years. Like
Exactly. I was always constantly reading all the time. I have a smartphone, obviously, so that was my form of entertainment. Whenever I had like a minute for myself, I was always like swallowing up books.
Because how old were you when you had your first mobile phone?
First mobile phone,
Yeah.
like a brick.
Like just the first mobile phone.
Yeah, like 12, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those you couldn't do, and you could just
Yeah,
call.
you can just
like, and then like
message.
real
'Cause I was,
smartphone,
like,
I don't know, in high school.
15. Yeah. No, I was 15 with my first like just brick, as you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think like just not having anything else to do as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not being on your phone the whole time.
Yeah, I should get one of those again. But so the book I've chosen is a book called The Secret Garden.
Oh yeah, I used to use that book as an adult too. I never read the whole book, I must say, but I used to use it to fall asleep. I had loads of problems falling asleep when I lived like in Belgium by myself for some reason. Like I think I daydreamed a lot as well when I went to bed. And then there was an app that had like a free part of that story. But of course I always fell asleep before the story was finished. So I never read the actual book.
I could see that. Like it's one of those like I haven't revisited it in a minute. Like
smooth, just like soothing.
Yeah, it is very soothing, and it's basically the story. Like it's very old. It was written like in 1911. Wow. And all the books I've chosen are written by women also, which I'm not beating the misandrist accusations. But I think it's a book, like I have quite a hazy recollection of it. Like if I were to read it again, maybe I wouldn't even like it as an adult. But when I was a kid, I just have this very visceral memory of just like being transported to this world that was so different. Because, you know, it's about this little girl growing up in the Yorkshire moors, and she's quite sickly, she's quite ill, and she discovers a secret garden, and basically through tending to the garden with her little friends, she heals herself. Like that's at least my very distant recollection of it. But yeah, like it really, I have such a fond memory of just being like fully immersed in this universe and this story, and yeah, like really, you know, this transformative power of books that I was very much like a daydreamer, like, you know, always like a little bit with my head in the clouds. And yeah, I think books were really like thing that anchored me to the world and to my imagination. And this book was part of a collection that actually my stepmom growing up, she had a lot of books, but none of them had covers. It's like, you know, these very like old books that are like have like binded covers, and hers were all like tartan, you know,
so the same color.
And so there was like nothing to go off of like on the cover, you know, so it all had to come from your imagination. And I remember, that's why I ended up reading a lot of like really old books from like the early 20th century and stuff. But so that's why I picked The Secret Garden, because I think it really, has a special place in my heart from when I was a little girl.
That is so sweet. I chose all books that are kind of like modern. So
mine are the other ones are also like very contemporary.
And I have 2 women and 1 man. But 2 of those people are native writers, so you know.
Well,
no, because I read a lot more women than I read men. Like there's no comparison, to be honest.
Same.
No, especially white men. I barely ever read like white men for some reason. I mean, it's not for some reason. I choose the books that I'm writing and that I'm reading, and I choose as diverse as possible. And I think also like the circle of people that I see on Instagram and recommendations are also reading very diverse.
Yeah, there's like a lot of factors. Yeah,
so for me, that's basically when they say, "Oh, I don't choose what I read. I choose what comes to me," and it's like then you're letting someone choose for you. But the people who are choosing for me are the people who read quite diverse, so I'm happy with it. And the first one, and I chose a fiction book, a non-fiction book, and then I chose another fiction book. That was the hardest, I think, to choose from, because there are so many that I like. But I chose it mostly because of the genre, because it was a book that set me up into the horror genre. Before that, I didn't really read horror. And it's, you know, because I don't usually watch horror because I'm too afraid of it. And it's The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones.
I really want to read that book because of you.
Yeah, well, good, because I already got a few people reading it. I remember like cycling to work and listening to it on like audio form on my bicycle, and it's like the vibe is immaculate. I really like the audiobook. The vibe is immaculate.
Is it the author reading it?
Actually, I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think so. From what I remember, he does read, I think, the of course the thank you notes at the end, and also before, I think he makes some notes, but I'm not entirely sure. But then it's not him reading. But it's amazing, and it's one book that I had heard before I read it that it goes from 0 to 100 in like 2 seconds, and I was reading it and I was like, this is kind of tame, and then something happens and I'm like, okay, maybe it's still kind of tame, and then bam, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute, I had to actually go back because I wasn't sure I actually was reading what I was reading. And I think there's one thing that Stephen Graham Jones does, not in this book maybe, but in most of his books, which is give you a premise that you think there's no way this character is like sane. This character is obviously, there's something wrong with her mind right now, that she's kind of like seeing things that are not there, like conspiracy theories, etc. etc. And then the main character is always writing some way.
Wow.
And he does that with a lot of the book. I've read a few of his books, and he does that a lot with his books, but every time he kind of catches you by surprise, even when you know that, because you don't know which way it's gonna go. You know what I mean? There are like several things that can happen. Very kind of twisty. Not really just twisty, just like you're kind of doubting the things that are happening, and then you kind of realize that maybe you should actually believe characters.
Wow, so interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's the opposite of a unreliable narrator.
Yeah, it's a narrator that's more reliable than you give them credit.
Exactly, because it sounds so weird. But not in this one, I don't think. Or maybe a little bit of this one, actually, now that I think about it. And it's just like, it's very gruesome. So if you don't like body horror, it's not that the whole book is body horror. That's not the point. But there are a few parts that are quite heavy in terms of like descriptions and what happens. But it's really, I think for me, it was like kind of whiplash. You are just reading it and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Wait, did that? Wait. Go back.
Rewind.
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, this is insane. And The Only Good Indians, it's so good. Like the premise is about like these 4 guys, they are native guys, and they did something they shouldn't have done. And then it kind of comes back to haunt them. And there's a sequel coming out. So I'm so excited about it.
Does it take place in present day?
Yeah, like it's fine. Like it does. It's a modern tale.
Okay.
Like it's like basically these 4 friends. 10 years ago, something happened, and I think the now was like 2022 or 21.
Oh, so it's super.
I think it's quite modern.
Yeah,
but it's just really good, and it kind of propelled me to go more into horror and read more horror.
Wow.
And which I didn't do before that. And it's just so well written.
I really like reading horror, so I definitely have to give that one a spin.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, and I'm not the only one, because there's a lot of people just recommending this one.
Yeah.
It's really
It's on my list for sure.
Yeah.
My second book is a book called Convenience Store Woman.
Oh, yeah!
Do you know it?
I haven't read it, but I know which book it is. And you told me more about her, about the author.
Yeah.
Actually.
The author. So the author is.
Is it from
Sayaka,
Earthlings as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sayaka Murata also wrote Earthlings. I'd say this is her least unhinged book. So I don't know if you've read Earthlings or.
Nothing. I haven't read anything.
I would start with this one because I think if you read Earthlings, you're gonna be like
disappointed by.
Like I do like Earthlings, and I like her most recent book that came out. Well, at least the translation came out last year or something. But this one I think is the most like grounded work of hers. And funnily enough, much like Celine Song, she was also working as a convenience store woman.
Oh, okay.
I think at the time she wrote this. I hope I'm not spreading misinformation.
So it's biographical as well. Kind of semi-biographical.
Like, it's really interesting because it's essentially a book about this 36-year-old woman in Tokyo that works in a convenience store and is single. And then the whole book is about this societal pressure, especially in Japan, but honestly could happen here as well, of everyone from her coworkers to her family pressuring her to,
get married.
Yeah,
get
like
kids.
level up
Get
sort
a new
of
job.
with her life. Yeah, like and it's like this binary that I feel women, and it's quite fitting, yesterday was International Women's Day.
Yeah.
This binary that women are put into still, which is like, oh, if you don't want to like get married and have kids, then at least then you have to be like super career driven, like to compensate for the fact that you didn't choose that. And I think I also I understand the frustration with this very limiting binary, and I think it's a really stunning work of feminist fiction. The writing is like really interesting, I think it also allowed me to find my voice as a writer. Not that I think I write like her, like I don't even think we have like similar writing styles, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes you need, I don't know, sometimes I feel like when I'm reading some writers, they inspire me to write, even in my own writing voice.
Exactly.
But it's just like I'm reading that and I feel inspired to go write something.
Exactly. Like that's exactly how it made me feel. And it's super short. I think it's like 200 pages, like barely or something. So I really recommend it. And it's a super easy, breezy read. And like our other books, I would go threads with caution.
Yeah.
But this one, I really like it.
Okay, cool. That's my second one now. So we're going to nonfiction, and everybody's gonna know this one from me. It's Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, because it's the most amazing book I've read, especially nonfiction. And it taught me so much. Again, I was listening to this book as well on my way to work on my bike, and I remember one time listening to this book and it was raining as hell and I was on the bike cycling and I felt so grateful about my life, because that's the perspective that this book gives you. It's like Robin Wall Kimmerer is a native woman, but she's also a scientist, and so she puts native knowledge and scientific knowledge together in a way to teach us about nature and about the world. And again, as I said, it's a book that's very hopeful but also serious. So it kind of tells you things how they are, but it also gives you hope, and it teaches you to be grateful and to leave enough behind for others. So leave enough, take enough, leave enough. Don't take everything. And it's a big contrast between white supremacy and colonization and native living. Like there's a big difference, and I think when you read this type of books about native communities, etc., you really see how like white supremacy and colonization and all that, how selfish it is and how it does not work. It's not sustainable. And Braiding Sweetgrass is also part memoir, and I would advise everyone, if they could, to also listen to the audiobook, because she reads it in such a melancholic, deep way. It's like she writes nonfiction. I always say this: she writes nonfiction as if she was writing poetry. That's how beautiful her writing and the way, and the love. I think like the love that she has for nature really permeates in her writing. And like, I think it's a book everybody should read, because we all have something to learn from it in any way. It's really, really good. And one thing that really stood out to me, it's like you cannot prove scientifically that being grateful for something makes something grow better. For example, there's no way to prove scientifically that if you plant something and you are grateful for what you're planting, that it's going to grow better. But it is true. So there's an experiment in the book about that, about gratitude, and how science does not accept that. That doesn't mean it isn't true. So that's my second book.
Yeah, I read this book because of you.
Project?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. And yeah, I'm super grateful. Sometimes I struggle a bit with nonfiction, but this book was just like, I wouldn't say it's easy to get through because it's very dense, the writing.
Yes.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. It like reads like poetry. Like it's so beautifully written and very inspiring also to read something that's just like so, anti-capitalist, but in a very, like you said, like hopeful way, like that's offering like an alternative path forward. Like, I really love that book as well.
Yeah. Same.
And great recommendation. And my third choice, I have to say I was torn because I will say, I think if the level stays the same, I'm halfway through Elena Ferrante's Napolitan Quartet, and if the level stays the same, it will also join the podium, but I'm not done yet. So in lieu of that, I have Pachinko.
Oh my god, I love Pachinko!
Which is such a good book. It's written by Min-Jin Lee, and it's the story of the Korean diaspora in Japan during across the 20th century. So you're basically following this tale of 4 generations. And yeah, like I just found it to be so stunning, the narrative and the writing. I think it's a book I would recommend to anyone who's going through a reading slump, because it's just like unputdownable, you know, like it flows so quickly.
And do not, no matter what you do, Google what pachinko means, okay? Do not, because you're gonna get a spoiler. I didn't know what pachinko machines were. Like, I had never heard the word. So I was like, oh, what does pachinko mean? And I scrolled down, of course, to kind of check what pachinko means. And immediately, a big spoiler. And I was like...
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I didn't get spoiled. I just kind of discovered what a pachinko machine was like through the book. But no, it's amazing. And I think, and this is something we've talked about, I think, as well. I think it's a book, again, very related to International Women's Day. I think it really grapples with, you know, this idea that women's lives are so punctuated by suffering and sacrifice, like silent sacrifice for others. And that's something that you really see like throughout the lives of the female characters in this book. And yeah, you know, it's a book that when reading it really made me think about, like, you know, my women ancestors, you know, not just like my mom and my grandma, but even women in my family that I never met. I don't know about them, but surely they must have gone through such strife and sacrifice for me to exist and to be here.
Making a podcast.
Yeah, making a podcast. Yeah, they would be so proud. R.I.P. You would have loved podcasts. But yeah, it's true. Like, it's, you know, like our privilege as women is really like so much like built on, you know, the sacrifice of women that came before. So I don't know, that's just something that the book really made me think about. And yeah, it's a great book. I recommend.
Really good. For me, the first book that I put here was, everybody already knows. Everybody's like, oh, Karina, you're really like, you're not surprising me. And that's Sea of Tranquility. And Sea of Tranquility was my first Emily St. John Mandel book. So she had already published Station 11 and a whole bunch of others. But I read Sea of Tranquility first because everybody was like, she was coming out with a new book. There were advanced reading copies available, like digitally for me. And I was like, I want to know, why is everybody so excited about a new book by her? So I downloaded the advanced reading copy and I read it. And the thing for me, I think that Sea of Tranquility, most people read it, and it's also in the book tour project, which I'm going to make an episode on the book tour project for people, because I still don't have it. But basically, what people who read it, they usually like it, but I think most people don't have the same reaction that I do towards it. But that's because sometimes you have books that kind of feel like they read you, rather than the other way around. Well. And Sea of Tranquility was a bit for me like that. There is something about the book that I was like, exactly, this is what I've been trying to tell people for forever. You know, like about, like, there's a theory, and this is not a spoiler, but there's a theory of us being a simulation, like us as like humanity being a simulation. And there's like something that I used to say all the time. So, and it's in that book. Like, if you read that book, the same thoughts that I had about it are there, in ways that I sometimes didn't know how to express, but also sometimes did express in the same way. So for me, that was like, this book is reading me. And it's also like such a an emotional story for me in general, besides that. I really, really love it. And as I said, it also meddles with like time travel and time and stuff, which I really love. And that's why I recommend it to everyone, and it's why it's my favorite, even though I know it's not going to be as impactful for most people as it was for me. Because again, it's like this book kind of read my mind, knows what I think, and that was amazing.
No, that's, like, it's a really good book. I really liked it a lot. And it's funny, like, I even see a little bit, maybe there is some crossover between what you like about past lives and what you like about this book.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I do think. Like, you know.
And, I like Station 11 a lot as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's really good too.
I understand why people would prefer Station 11 to Sea of Tranquility. I think Station 11 is more like a universal book, a universal experience in the what ifs. Sea of Tranquility also brings a lot of what ifs, but I don't think everybody is going to have the same experience. But it reminds me a bit of Matrix.
I was just going to say, Matrix, wow, have you seen The Matrix? Because that also feels very like simulation.
Because it's like, because with The Matrix, that's one thing that I keep saying about that, which is like, I still think, I don't know, which one is the red pill? Is like the one that gives you the conscious of what is happening? Or is
it's the like, the one that you awake to the reality.
I always say that, like, people say that, like, I still think that Nemo took the red pill because his life was shit. And don't misunderstand
you would take the blue pill. You'd be like, I'm happy with the simulation.
The thing is, like, I don't think, and things are getting, like, really bad. And I don't think the way that we are is good. But Neo did not take the red pill. It went still to strife. The red pill world was still really bad, more dangerous even for him. But he did have this feeling about life that is like, what's the point of all this? I'm going to this job that I don't really give a shit about. And when I'm not maybe like that good, so I have a lot of trouble. I don't like this life that we're living. And I, like, despite everything around me, I do like life. I think that there's a lot of life, and especially in situations of, like, when you're really in bad situations, I think there's also a lot of humanity that is really good that comes out. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
In times of distress, there's also a lot of hope and a lot of people picking you up and that community sense. So it's almost like the more strife there is, the more community sense there is. And that doesn't mean I want to strive for anything. Like, I want life to be as easy as it can for everyone. And I think I know there is enough money, because we are in a capitalist world, to give for everyone to have a good life, a happy life. And of course, some people are going to want things that they can't have. And there's always going to be a thing. But I think at least in terms of capital, we could all be in such good place. And I do think that one part of why Neo preferred, like, the red pill is because he didn't like the life he was living. But I do think that, again, that doesn't mean the life he was living is unreal or it's not real.
I understand. You're like, it's like living in the simulation is still living.
Yeah, but and I do think that maybe if Neo, and this goes into actually a story that I'm writing. I think that if at the risk of messing this up for me, it's the story of life of, like, maybe if Neo had a life that he really liked, he would not want to take the red pill. He would not want to give up that life for the truth.
Yeah.
And that's like a kind of beef that I had with the red pill and the blue pill for a long time, from the moment that I watched the movie, because I was like, okay, but he didn't really like his life.
Yeah.
So it's easy to take a red pill.
Exactly. Yeah.
What you gotta lose?
How much
Nothing.
worse can it get?
Of course. Yeah. You don't have a lot to lose.
That's true.
So yeah.
Yeah, losing the red pill discourse to the right is like one of the biggest pop culture tragedies.
But I'm not even like talking about that. I'm not even talking about that.
I feel bad for the Wachowskis.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm really just talking about, like, again, what is real to us and what matters to us. And that's really interesting perspective. Depending on what you have and what you can lose. And for me, there's always that. And I feel like with Sea of Tranquility, there's some...
Definitely. Yeah.
In betweens there.
Yeah.
Did we talk about everything?
I think we got
I think
everything.
we got everything. So yeah,
Or do we want to talk about the Materialists a bit more?
just like took the most space in this.
That's
in
so
this podcast.
so funny.
So
Materialists
funny.
review.
But yeah, like wanna like cut that part and then put it in as another podcast.
You can, milk it.
Just
Yeah.
reuse your content.
Exactly. Repurpose.
Yes, repurpose. So yeah, no, that's it. And we will come back to talk about something else next.
Yeah.
I have no idea. We haven't planned anything.
We'll figure something out.
I will try to make also an episode. I actually started it, but I'm going to have to record it about the book tour project. But if you look for the book tour project online on Google, you'll find it. And it's basically a way for us to read books together.
Yes.
Including some
of those, yeah.
Because I'm very biased. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'll put everything in the show's notes unless I forget. And if I do, please come and ask me. And I'll see you again very soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
You can access today's show's notes on my Substack, which you can find along with all of my social media links at linktree/Karina Pereira. If you have enjoyed this episode, please consider donating to my Ko-fi page, using my Libro.fm referral to purchase an audiobook, or simply leaving a review. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified when the next episode goes live. Talk to you then, and thank you for listening.